So we have this mesh already. Some forms are visible. We already have some shoulders. The forms are still kind of funny. They are not good yet, but we don't have to worry because you cannot make, if you compare it with the drawing, for instance, sculpting is requires patience and strong self-discipline, because if you draw something, you can draw some very beautiful sketch and then slowly turn into the beautiful, drawing or painting, and in every stage, the drawing is going to be looking, sellable. It's good. But with the sculpting, it's not the case. With the sculpting, there is plenty of stages where you hate your work, but we don't worry, because we know that the result will be good, or at least we hope on a good result. So what do we have? We have a helmet head. I already started to pull some jaw lines, and we need to set up the place for eyes. As we know, the eyes are in the middle of the head, approximately middle of the head. So let's measure somewhat like here. Yeah. We can even reduce the resolution a little bit. So I think it's very high. Okay, let's see if we turn it even less. Yeah, so I think this is good. Okay, so we have some kind of place for eyes. Well, it's supposed to be in the middle of the head. Here, because it's male, it can be a little bit higher than the middle of the head. And why it is so? Because if you look at the males, they usually have larger chin. So basically the distance between the lower lip and the chin is larger. So therefore, if you make the eyes a little bit, so eyes appear a little bit higher than the midline. So if your eyes make a little bit higher than the midline, so you get more of the face and less of the brain. And that's for the male, it's okay, especially if you at the end, if you put some hair, so basically you compensate it quite a bit. I put some little lazy mouse. You can play with it, because if you want to create some kind of less intelligent appearance, then you bring the eyeline higher, and if you want to make a person more intelligent looking, then the eyeline goes lower, upper side of the face. And if you have upper side of the face higher, it seems like the person has more space for the forehead, and usually larger foreheads, they're signaling of higher intelligence, or at least that's how people perceive other people. It's not necessarily the case, but the person looks smarter. And it also happens with the males after like 35 or something. If the male losing hair, the forehead seems to increase. So another thing is the shape of the head. So it's kind of like a forehead side. So basically it's more narrow, and more narrow in the face side, and more wide than the back side of the head. And this, I'm going to explaining in my anatomy videos, but actually this is the feature of not every race have it, but it's more typical for the white race, and again, not for all race. So there's some parts of the white and the sub races in white people, then they don't have this feature. And sometimes the head looks more round from the top and less egg-shaped, and it's called brachiocephaly. And it has nothing to do with any other condition than just genetics. It doesn't say anything than your heritage. So basically, there is tradition in sculpture to make like the forehead smaller. So therefore, it appears more dolichocephalic or mesocephalic head. So backside of the head is wider. And again, in anatomy videos, I will be explaining this phenomenon more and tell about like cephalic index and all these kind of things. But here in this video, I'm not going to go so deep in those areas. I just explained like the main shapes as we used to know. It's not necessarily like that, but most of the cases, if you look at the forehead, it is a little bit smaller than the brain case. Brain case is a little bit wider. As I mentioned, it's typical for white race, but also some African races, sub-races also have this feature. So it's not exclusive for one race or something. It is just very individual. Some people have it like this, and some people don't. But let's assume that that's the way how we sculpt. And then, if we like, we can make all kinds of adjustments. So as you can see, I kind of sketching in the features of the face without going into the details, because it is too early to start working on details. Because we need to get this feeling of this particular model that we're sculpting without details. So it's almost like if you look at the person from a distance, sometimes you see somebody approaching you for, let's say, 100 meters, and you can recognize that person not because of the details, but because of the overall shape of the face, its proportions between the eyes, basically this triangle, so eyes, nose and mouth, the way how these kind of patterns on the face, the shadow patterns of the face are created. So we have this cheek planes, and they also create some kind of shadow, and sometimes in a drawing they even draw the line like I draw it here, which goes from the cheekbone down to the corner of the mouth. Later we have to get rid of this division because it's going to be messing with our facial features. But now I think that's the good time to introduce face with these kind of things. So this resolution is already getting too big, so we'll increase a little bit resolution. We have some spaces for eyes, so maybe by pressing Alt we carve out a little bit. We carve out the place for the eyes, and then releasing the Alt, we just bringing back some volume here, which is going to be basically the eyes. But again, avoiding the small details. Just you want to avoid it, because now we kind of like a sketching in, and we want to avoid these kind of things. Okay, same thing with the ears. The size of the ear is approximately the lower part of the ear, and the upper part, basically the dimensions of the ear, that earlobe matches with the bottom of the nose, and the upper part of the ear matches with the middle of the eyebrows. And again, it is different for different people. Female have smaller ears, and usually the smaller because of the upper part, not because of the lower part. So basically the lower part of the ear always is matching with the bottom of the nose. So, and then if you want to decrease the size of the ear, they might look too big, then you want to just reduce the upper part, not the lower part of the ear. So we have some kind of ears already, and again, we're not working on details because we want to avoid spend, or let's say waste time of details, because we might be needed to redo it. So basically we might make some mistakes, and we have to remake it. So if we spend too much time on details, then this time is going to be wasted. And when you make the nose, remember to make the bridge of the nose. So basically this part of the nose, it's called the bridge. Basically it's the bridge between the forehead and the back of the nose. So there is some transition, and as you can see, this transition goes backwards, versus the brow ridge is moving ahead. So it's basically convex. The thickness of the back of the nose is actually important. If we can establish it already, that's very nice. So also the people that are making are the space in between the bottom of the nose and the eyes. This distance between the eye and the bottom of the nose, the people, this triangle, they make it too big. So you want to avoid this mistake. basically the space in between the eyes and the wings of the nose is actually smaller than we usually perceive, usually we think. So basically when we draw without reference, people used to make here mistakes. So we split the upper lip from the lower lip. Let's make some kind of like upper and lower lip feature, but again, not working too much on the details, because we're going to be making those details later, and I will be explaining those details and the whole point of those details, because every detail has some kind of like idea. So basically it's already time for setting up some forehead, some brow ridge, some one structure. Because it's male, the brow ridge is actually bigger than on the female. We already putting that in, because if we would make female, then we would increase the upper part of the forehead. And again, the anatomy of the forehead, that's a separate video that I'm going to be covering in another videos, and I'll be explaining the difference between the female and the male forehead and how to basically feature them to increase the masculinity or the femininity. So sometimes you want to make male look more feminine, and sometimes you want to make female look masculine. And then if you know how these things are working, the masculinity and femininity, then you can basically play around with these kind of techniques. So the thing that I'm working here, that's a temporal line. Basically that's the borderline between the temple, the roof of the head, and the forehead. So that's kind of like a dividing border. So I'm just sketching in now, because I want to make sure that this plane is the same as here. So I'm not putting very much details. I'm just laying in some very basic shapes. Yeah, maybe it's soon is going to be time to increase the resolution, because it starts to becoming very hard to work on detail. Basically, maybe it's already time to start working on details. Maybe it's too early. I don't know. Maybe we need to add some detailization, just tiny little bit, and see what happens. And the next thing we're gonna make more precise these details, these features, and make it more look-alike of this guy. And we'll do a little bit adjustments on the neck as well.